Good evening. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration Program for all West Virginia students, sponsored by the West Virginia Association of Collegiate Registrar and Admission Officers, along with StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off so the panelists cannot see you or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at wvacrao.org/student access. This presentation is also being recorded, and it will be available within about a week at that same website, wvacrao.org. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to our presenters.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're here at Bluefield College. We are so glad to have this opportunity where we can still come talk to you all, even though COVID has restricted that a little bit. I'd love to be face-to-face, but given the age that we're in, I hope everybody understands that this is the best way for us to do that and do that safely. So I'm going to get right into the presentation. So my name's Emily Coppola. I'm with Bluefield College, as you can see. If you want to reach out to me or if you want to take a picture of this slide before we get into the presentation, I know you might not have any questions yet before we really get into the nitty-gritty. So what I always do is take my cell phone out, take a picture of the contact, that way you can have it. I'll also have my contact at the end, so if you don't get it now, don't worry, we'll get back into it. So some of you might be saying, where's Bluefield College? I don't think that's in West Virginia. And you would be correct. We are located right on the border of West Virginia and Virginia. I myself am a native West Virginian. I've been there my whole life. I'm a little bit biased. I think West Virginia is very beautiful, but Virginia is not that different from West Virginia. Once you get right across the border, you'll see that we've got a lot to offer, just like the Mountain State does. At Bluefield College, first and foremost, we are a Christian school. We're a Christ-centered campus, community, and curriculum. What does that mean for you? That means that you can come to Bluefield whether you're a Christian or not, but you're going to experience Christ in one way or another. That really plays a significant part in not only what you'll experience while you're on campus, but the type of education you're going to get. You're going to not only be a priority to your professors, to your other peers, but you're also going to be seeing that we're really focused on your personal growth, not only your academic, your athletics, but we're focused on your spiritual growth as well. We are a smaller school, so as I mentioned, it does give you the opportunity to really focus in on your studies, hone in on those things that you really came to school for. I mean, if you're studying your major, your minor, your associates, whatever it is you're studying, here at Bluefield, you're going to have that opportunity to really focus in on what you're studying and not get distracted by things that you might be distracted at a bigger school. You're still going to have a big school experience. You can make it as small or as big as you want. We've got 40 plus programs. That includes 6 pre-professional programs. You can do dual enrollment if you're a high school student, so that way you can get your foot in the door and get a little bit of stuff under your belt before you come. You can do your bachelor's degree, or your bachelor's degree, your master's degree. We've got something for everybody. We range all the way from the arts to STEM programs. So whether you know what you want to do, maybe you don't know what you want to do, you can come in undecided as well. We represent 32 states, 16 countries. I always like to say that students, whether they're from down the street or whether they're from across the globe, they're going to make a big impact on campus, and it's going to be the same amount of impact because we know that our students are people. They have different needs. They come from different backgrounds, and that's what makes everyone so great, makes our campus so diverse, is that we appreciate all of those things that everyone brings to campus. So I'll get into it a little bit later about our athletic programs, but we are NAIA D1, if that's something you're interested in. So our mission, like I mentioned a little bit before, we are a Christian college. As I said, that does not mean you have to be a Christian to come to Bluefield. You can come to Bluefield no matter what you are, and we're going to welcome you with open arms. All of our staff and faculty on campus are Christians. So take that into consideration when you think about Bluefield, is you're going to be in an environment where you're going to be welcomed, and we're going to be focusing on what will make you the better person. That means you're going to be able to come to your professors if you need prayer, come to your professors if you have any kind of questions whatsoever. You're going to be a priority. You're not just going to be another test grade. We're going to know you on a first name basis, and it's really going to be a family. We call ourselves the RamsFam for a reason, because I can't explain or think of a different way to say it other than a family. We're extremely passionate about helping students not only understand the things they're studying, but understand that they're giving themselves the opportunity to better their future. You're coming to college not just for a college experience, but you're coming to college to better your family, to better yourself, to better your future. And we know that. We want to make sure that you get the best opportunity to take yourself to the next level, whether your career's in biology, whether it's in chemistry, whether you're doing something completely different. We just want to give you the best foot forward as much as we can. Some of you might not know where Bluefield, West Virginia is, or Bluefield, Virginia for that matter. So we're about, as you can see, we are probably an hour and a little more over an hour away from Charleston. I'm from Southern West Virginia, so from Southern West Virginia, if you're coming from any of that area, we are only about 35, 40 minutes away, given probably where you're at. But you can also see we're not that far away from some of those bigger cities. So let's say you're watching this and you're from somewhere way north of the state. It's only going to be a few hours to get here. It's not going to be like a plane ride to get here. Now, you're not going to be able to, let's say, if you're from the Panhandle, Northern Panhandle, to drive home every weekend, but you do have the opportunity to go home if you would like to. So it's not going to be too much of a long haul. You're not going to be having to take a bunch of flights with a bunch of layovers. Just hop in a car and you'll get here. So our campus, this is a beautiful shot, and it's pretty much our campus in a nutshell. We have 32 acres, 32, I don't know where I got that. We have 82 acres, 32 states, that's where I got that. We're surrounded by East River Mountain. Like I said before, I might be a little bit biased and think we're really beautiful, but I think even if you're unbiased, you would say that's pretty beautiful as well. We've got 25 buildings, facilities. If you're coming in and you're an athlete, you're not gonna have to travel to go to your games. Unless it's not a home game, of course, but practices and stuff, we've got that covered. You can do that right here on campus. We also have a post office. So if you come to Bluefield, you won't have to worry about going and finding a post office. You can leave your dorm room, be at our post office in under 5 minutes, get any package you can get at home, and then take it right back to your dorm room. We also do not have a bookstore. Well, you're going to say, well, that doesn't make any sense. You're a college. Where can I get my books? Well, that's because you don't have to worry about buying your books. We're going to give you a box of your books at the beginning of a semester. You can do whatever you want with those books within reason, and then you'll return those books to us in a box at the end of the semester, and you'll be good to go. You don't have to pay any fees. Those are included in all of your tuition and fees you experience when you come to Bluefield, and then you'll be golden. Some of our athletic students might be saying, well, what about training? We've got an excellent training facility, a gym, the Herb Sim Center. It's just recently been done, so it's state of the art. If you're into working out, you can go there. COVID regulations, of course, but it's always open for students to enjoy. I'm not that much of an athlete, but if that's your thing, even if it's not your thing, you can still go there and work out on the facilities and all of our machines and still enjoy it. Experience our community. Now, like I said before, COVID has really restricted us in a lot of ways, but that's okay. You can still experience Bluefield even from the comfort of your own home. We do have an online virtual tour. It is narrated. You don't have to listen to it if you don't want to, but I really suggest that you do. It's going to give you a lot of good information, and it's kind of similar to what you would experience if you were on campus. If you want to do the tour, but maybe you want to ask a couple of questions, there's an opportunity to sign up for a personal virtual tour. That way you will be walked through the virtual tour with a current student ambassador. They're going to tell you what it's like to be a student and give you some really good insight that you might not get from a faculty or staff member. And then you'll be able to meet with an admissions counselor, someone like me, one of my coworkers. If you are an athlete, you'll have the opportunity to talk to some of our coaches. So keep that in the back of your head. So if you want to do email, text, whatever, but that Zoom meeting, you can also do that as well. Living on campus. I know it can be a little scary if you're a freshman. It can even be a little scary if you're a transfer student and you're a full-grown adult. But we do have a lot of opportunities about living on campus. So we have traditional style living, apartment style. The picture is from one of our recently renovated men's residency halls. It is really neat. It's not only like you say, oh, it's just a dorm. No, it's really cool. You can just go in there and hang out. They've got massage chairs. They've got gaming chairs. They've got several TVs. I think they have a foosball table as well. But we've got laundry on site, and you don't have to pay for that laundry. You can just put your clothes in, scan a QR code on that laundry machine with your phone, and then let's say you're sitting in class, it'll tell you when your clothes are done. You can go load those into your dryer, pop right back into class, and you'll be good to go. You don't have to worry about bringing any furniture. It's fully furnished. Also comes with a microwave and a fridge, so you don't have to worry about lugging that from wherever you're coming from. I know that can be a hassle, so that's one less thing for you to worry about. Wi-Fi, of course, and of course, you know, you don't have to pay for Wi-Fi. I know that is a concern for some colleges, but not at Bluefield. This is always a big thing. People, of course, want to know about our programs. As you can see, we've got a lot of different options. You can minor in one thing, major in one thing. You don't have to have a minor. You can double major. The possibilities are really endless. I've had students come in and do, let's say, a business program, and then they've minored in something completely different off the wall, and it's just what they're interested in. You absolutely have that opportunity. It's your future. It's your educational career. It's your life, and we understand that. We're not going to try to persuade you into or out of something because we know this is a big decision. It's a big life marker for you, and we don't want you to go away unhappy. We want to make sure that all of your needs, your concerns, your wants are all taken care of. So like I did say before, we do have pre-professional programs. We have pre-dental, health. As you can see, we got a lot of options. Let's say you want to go into pre-veterinary, but you don't want to start at one of those bigger colleges. You can come to Bluefield and get all of those lower level classes done. That way, when you do graduate, you can go straight into one of those postgraduate programs, get your veterinary done, get your medical done, whatever it is you're interested in. We also have a on-campus nursing program starting this coming spring. The cohorts, you don't have to come in or you don't have to wait for a cohort to start and then so you can start the next one before that one finishes. You can come in, you can wait a semester, wait 2 semesters, and then come in. It's really dependent on what your needs are. So that's the good thing about going to a smaller school is you don't have to worry about fitting into that school's mold. The mold's going to adapt for you. Now, I say that within reason. We can't just completely change everything for anyone in particular, but we're going to adapt to your needs. And like I can't stress it enough, we're going to meet your needs, whatever they are. Graduate programs as well, online programs. We have all of those options if that's something you're interested in. Student life. Being a Christian school, we do have a lot of on-campus ministries. One of our student athletes, or he's not a student athlete, he's a student assistant in the office. He leads the student-led worship team. Now you can say, that's a lot for a student. Yes, but it's all selective. So you can come in if you say, I'm going to be involved with the worship team. We'd be glad to get you plugged in. Let's say you start in a program, you start in a couple clubs, you say, well, this is a lot on my plate. That's okay. We know, like I say, that your studies come first, then athletics, but above all of those is your spiritual health, not your spiritual wealth. We have intramurals as well. Let's say you're interested in playing sports, but maybe you don't want to do varsity sport. That's absolutely fine. You have the option to do intramurals. We have 2 Greek organizations as well. We've got some clubs. Maybe you're interested in art, biology, the outdoors, leading. We have a lot of student leaders on campus. And that's really something good to put, let's say if you're going into a graduate study or just something for your resume for your job in the future. If you have anything with student-led activities, student government, anything like that, it's only going to give you more proof to say, well, I am a leader, I've got a lot going on for me, and I'm goal-oriented. That's just something to keep in mind. We have 18 sports programs. Now, let's say you want to do something competitive, but maybe you don't want to compete on a field or a court. We actually have esports if that's something you're interested in. I'll get into that with the next slide, show you all of our games, but that's just something I really like to express because we see that times are changing and we want to be able to offer what our students are interested in. Not everyone wants to play basketball, and that's okay. A lot of people do want to play basketball, and that's also something that we really enjoy at Bluefield is whether it's a student athlete wanting to come play some kind of sport, or if it's a student coming that just wants to cheer on their fellow athletes, their fellow peers, they can do that as well. Pre-COVID year, our stands would be full with all of our student support. COVID, of course, it has changed a little bit, but that support is still there, absolutely. We also have a co-ed sport, cheers. That's something that's really cool because not a lot of schools have that. So for our conferences, we've got Appalachian Athletic Conference, Mid-South Conference, D1 and NAIA, like I mentioned. We also have athletes of valor. So let's say you're coming in and you are a student, but you're also a veteran and you're an athlete on top of that. You might say, well, I've got a lot going on and I need some special help, maybe someone to talk to, or maybe just a community I'd like to be plugged into. That's where athletes of valor comes in. And that's something that I think that you cannot pass up, especially if you've got all three of those things going. That can really help you in the long run. So like I said, we've got esports team. Take a look at all of our games. I'll be honest, a lot of these are over my head. I still think it's super cool that we have an esports team because it really shows that times are changing, the world is changing, and we're here to change with those as well. Now, like I said, we'll get into the nitty gritty. So how much does Bluefield cost? Let me first say that 99% of our students receive some form of financial aid. We have a lot of scholarships that are going to be awarded as soon as a student applies and is accepted into that. For example, if a student comes in a first-time freshman with a 3.5 GPA or higher, they're automatically going to get a $12,000 scholarship per year. So you think if you stay here for 4 years, that's going to be 12,000 times 4. That's a lot of money and that's a lot of math. So if you're a math major, do that math for me. Tuition and fees, we're sitting right about $28,170 room and board. As you can see, we've got a lot of scholarship opportunities though. We've got athletics, we've got academics, like I mentioned, we've got worship team, fine arts. Something interesting about Bluefield is the way our athletic scholarships are processed is the exact same way that our fine arts and worship team scholarships are processed as well. So it's competitive, but it's also acknowledging that students have talent, whether that's on the field, whether that's behind an instrument. The choice is yours and the world is your oyster. So we can do and want to do anything we can to help you get to Bluefield and get that quality education that you need. We also have a net price calculator if maybe you want a little bit more of a personalized estimate before you do submit that application. You can go visit that calculator right at that link on the screen and put all your personal information in as far as like what you can expect for your upcoming financial costs at Bluefield, and that will give you a pretty solid idea. So for my high school students, let's say you want to get your associate's degree before you even graduate high school, you absolutely have that opportunity. I wish I did that when I was in high school because that would have helped me out a lot. But it's $100 per credit hour. Most of our courses are 3 credit hours. So that's sitting right at about $300 per class. You cannot beat that. That is a fantastic price for such a good education that you're getting. The requirements for that is you do have to be at least a sophomore in high school and you have to have at least a 3.0 GPA. Now keep in mind that these are college courses, so they're not high school courses. They will meet your high school requirements if you're homeschooled, but they are full college courses. So you're going to have to turn in your assignments and everything before the deadline, but you have all the time in the world, well, within reason, before the deadline to do that. So you can do that on your own time. You don't have to be logged into class at a certain time to do your work. It's all online. It's all up to you. But you all will also have the opportunity to reach out to your professors at any time if you need to. Their emails, their phone numbers are provided to you if you need that. Like I said, you can get your associate's degree in general education. So that way when you come to college, I mean, that can be considering or take into consideration whichever college you're transferring that credit into. That can be 2 years off of your degree, and that could really fast track on your education. If you're transferring into Bluefield College, that's cool too. So you have to have at least 12 GPA credits. You might say, well, I want to transfer, but I don't have 12 credits yet. That's okay. All I'll need is your high school transcript, final official. Then I can work with that. You'll still be coded as a transfer student, but we're going to take that high school GPA into consideration and we'll use that for your acceptance. So you don't have to worry about, well, I want to transfer, but I should really wait a semester, maybe a year. You can do that now. You can even give me a work in progress transcript and I can work off of that. Something I should also mention is for this upcoming fall, we're also working as test optional. So what does that mean? That means that you can do CLT, Classic Learning Test, at your own home, at your own time. You can do SAT, ACT, but that also means that you don't have to do any of those 3 tests. What I would recommend is CLT, given that it is online. It'll just give you an edge. Since we are test optional, it'll give you that edge up. But of course, you don't have to. That's not something we're requiring for this upcoming year. Freshmen, you do have to have a 2.0. That is across the board for our freshmen or transfers, whether you're a citizen, whether you're an international student, we require that you have that 2.0 GPA. If you have let's say a 1.5 to 2.0, still apply. I'll still be able to work you in if I can. Then at that point, it will be out of the admissions counselor's hand, but we'll still see what we can do. Take into consideration maybe what you were experiencing in your life at that time, what you were studying, the way the world was at that time, and we will do all we can to see if you can be a good Bluefield Ram. Checklist, submit your high school transcripts, give us any kind of dual enrollment, college transcripts, anything like that. International students. So given that you are, of course, not a citizen of the United States, you have a little bit more steps to check off on your list, but that's okay. That doesn't mean you are any less eligible or you have any less opportunities. What are the requirements for an international student? So you have to have, like I said, a 2.0 GPA. That's across the board for any of our students. You have to give us your transcripts. If they're not in English, then they have to be translated. Or you can just submit a official transcript evaluation from a service, let's say Incred, WES. Regardless if you do the translation or the Incred, I'm just using Incred as an example, you will have to submit an official transcript evaluation regardless. So that's really something to take into consideration. You could do that first, get that knocked out of the way, and then I can use that for your acceptance. Proof of English proficiency. Now, you can either take a test, Duolingo, TOEFL, TOEFL. You absolutely have those options, and then just send us your score. Or if you'd like, we can set up some kind of call. I have WhatsApp, I have Zoom. We can do anything like that. I can just communicate with you a little bit to see how your English is. If it is good, then I can exempt you of that test. Maybe it needs a little bit more work. You and I can talk, see where you're at in that stage, if you need to study a little bit more, or if you just need to take that test. Maybe you're a little bit nervous while we're talking. That's okay, it happens. Of course, you need to submit that application, any of your transcripts. I talked about that evaluation. But no matter where you're coming from, we want to make sure that Bluefield's the right choice for you. Let's say you're coming from Charleston, you're coming from Princeton, Beckley, wherever it is you're coming from, Logan. We want to make sure that Bluefield's the right choice for you. We want to make sure that we fit your needs, that we fit what you're interested in. We've got a lot going on for us, and we know that this is an investment into your future. So we want to make sure that the school and you fit good together. Bluefield not only has a lot to offer in way of academic programs, student activities, sports, things like that, but we also have a lot to offer for your personal growth as well, like I've said so many times before. So this is one of our students currently on campus, Colin. He goes by Sarge, though, so it's a little weird to call him Colin. He's currently a student on campus. He was in the military. When he got to Bluefield, he thought, you know, what is the area really missing? And that is a coffee spot. I can't tell you how glad I am that Sarge brought coffee to Bluefield. Like, we've got Starbucks and we've got a couple of little cafes, but in like this part of town, there really wasn't anywhere to get good coffee. And Sarge really fit that need. Fit that need. He also saw that there was also a problem with maybe some students outside of the area feeling like they're fitting in, finding a place in the community. So what he did was he opened up his own business while still being a Bluefield College student, and he employs football players from the college, maybe just students from the college. So not only do they have that opportunity to, one, have a job while they're studying, but two, they feel like they're a part of something more than just going to class every day. It gives them the opportunity to build their career, build their job, build their resume, focus on that community sense, because that is a really happening place to be. That place is always busy. I don't care what time of day I'm there, what day I'm there of the week. There's always a little bit of a line, which is good for business, but there's always someone there enjoying everything they have. So Bluefield, just like Sarge saw, is going to give you a lot of opportunities that you might not experience if you're outside of Bluefield. Let's say you're going to a bigger school, you can feel like you're really lost in all of the other students, all of the projects. When you come to Bluefield, you're going to be a priority. We're going to know you on a first name basis. One of the good examples I always like to give is if I go into the cafeteria on any given day, I'm going to see some of my coworkers and my colleagues at the college just hanging out and eating with some of our students, because it really is a family. It's not a professors versus students. It's not a staff versus students. It's a Rams with Rams. You know, it's a comfortable environment. Um, Before I came to Bluefield, I loved the area, of course, because I'm from here. But after being at Bluefield, I love it even more. I can't express to you how passionate I have become since working at Bluefield, not only for the area, but for other people's growth. I mean, I thought I was a nice person before, maybe not after I see now how I am at Bluefield. Bluefield's just really made me realize that the world is not a bad place after all, and that everyone is really here if you need them. And it really can't get anywhere, can't get better than anywhere. Can't get better anywhere than Bluefield. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time talking tonight. But if you all are interested in connecting with us, pull out your phone like you did at the beginning, take a picture of our QR code, scan it. All you need to do is take your phone, point it at that QR code, let it sit for a second. It'll send you directly to a link. You can fill out a little bit of information about yourself. That way we can connect. Email if you're interested, text if you're interested, phone if you're interested. You can certainly tell us which way you'd like to be contacted. That way we will contact you. Let's say you have some questions. Fill out one of those forms and I'd be glad to get back to you. If you want to check out our website, see what else we've offer, maybe something I didn't mention. If you have any kind of questions, shoot us an email at admissions. That'll come directly to my office so you and I can talk. Or I can get you plugged in. Let's say you want to talk to a coach, you want to talk to a professor, anything, whatever suits you, suits me. My schedule is pretty open, so if you want to send me a message, certainly feel free to do that. If you send me an email, I'll get back to you whenever I can if I'm not in for the day. But like I said, I just can't express enough that I'm glad to have this opportunity to talk to everybody. I know this was different, and I'd love to be in person with everyone to answer all of your questions, but I'm just glad that God's given us the opportunity to kind of adapt to the situation that we're giving and adapt to the circumstances. So at Bluefield, just take into consideration, one, like I've said, you're going to be a priority. Two, you're going to get quality education. And two, you're going to feel like you're you're going to feel like you're a part of something bigger. And hopefully by the time you come, I'll be able to talk correctly. I don't know why I've been having such a hard time tonight. But thank you all for coming. I know this has been a little bit shorter than what we thought it would. If anyone has any questions, feel free to send those in the Q&A box. I'd be glad to answer anything if anyone has something. Or like I said, send me an email. I might actually just put my email on the screen again. Let's do that. Oh, maybe not. Just pop this back on the screen. If anyone wants to take, like I said, maybe a picture of it, write down my contact info, you absolutely can. If you're a freshman, if you're a transfer student, if you're an international student, feel free to reach out to me and I'll get you connected to whoever you need to be connected to. Don't worry about saying, well, I'm a freshman, but she's a transfer and international counselor. That's okay. Shoot me a message and I'll get you contacted with Janine, Scott, or Whitley, depending on where you're from, and we'll get you the information you need. But otherwise, thanks everybody for joining me tonight. And I think that sums everything up. I think that's all of our info.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. When you close the window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions over the next 2 weeks at wvacrao.org/student access. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at that same website, wvacrao.org/student access. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.